At a forgotten train station on the outskirts of Madrid, a railway worker noticed something that would haunt him for days: a skeletal greyhound lying motionless beside the tracks, so thin that every rib protruded through matted fur. This was Mango, barely a year old, but with eyes that had seen a lifetime of betrayal, abandoned like trash by someone who had once promised to care for him. He didn't run when people approached. He had learned that hope was dangerous. When Grateful Greyhounds, a dedicated rescue organization in New York specializing in saving Spanish greyhounds from unimaginable cruelty, received Mango's photo, they knew time was running out. This dog was dying, not just physically, but emotionally. The rescue team in Spain rushed to the station, and what they found was even worse. Mango weighed barely 35 pounds, when he should weigh 60 to 70 pounds. His body temperature was dangerously low, and the vet said another day without help would have been fatal. They discovered he had been used as a hunting dog, beaten when he didn't perform well, and when he became useless, he was dumped like garbage, a common fate for thousands of greyhounds in Spain every year. During his first weeks in the shelter, Mango wouldn't eat, wouldn't interact, just lay trembling in the corner, and staff wondered if he was too broken to ever trust again. But then something miraculous happened. A family in New York, scrolling through rescue photos late one night, saw Mango's picture and felt something they couldn't explain. A pull so strong, they immediately called and said, "That's our dog. We don't care what it takes. We're bringing him home." The rescue coordinator couldn't believe it. Most people passed over dogs this traumatized, but this family was different. They saw past the fear and brokenness to the soul underneath that just needed one chance. I can see that many of you watching right now haven't subscribed yet, and honestly, that breaks my heart because by joining our family and hitting that subscribe button, you become part of these rescue stories. You become part of the reason dogs like Mango get second chances. Let's build a community that fights for the voiceless together, because every subscriber means we can share more stories and save more lives. The 8-hour flight from Madrid to New York must have been terrifying for Mango. Trapped in a crate, surrounded by strange noises, probably convinced he was being taken somewhere worse. But when the family saw him at the airport, they burst into tears. He was even thinner than in photos, his legs shaking so badly he could barely stand. But the moment they opened the crate and the mother knelt down, something extraordinary happened. Mango took one step forward, then another, and suddenly collapsed into her arms, his whole body shaking with what could only be relief, as if he'd been holding his breath for a year and could finally exhale. They wrapped him in blankets, carried him to the car, and during the drive home, he did something that made everyone cry. He put his head on the father's shoulder and let out a long, shuddering sigh that released years of pain. That first night changed everything. Instead of being scared, Mango climbed onto the couch, folded his long greyhound legs into the smallest position possible, and wedged himself between them, his head on the mother's lap, his paws reaching for the father as if he needed to touch both to believe this was real. He slept 16 hours straight, and every time he woke, he'd look around frantically until he saw them, then close his eyes again. The healing journey began. Mango had to learn everything from scratch. He didn't know what stairs were and would freeze in terror, so his family spent hours sitting on steps with him, encouraging him until after 2 weeks, he finally climbed them, and they celebrated like he'd won a medal. He didn't understand toys, didn't know the soft beds were his, didn't realize food would be there tomorrow, so he guarded it desperately. But the physical transformation was astonishing. With proper nutrition and love, Mango gained 10 pounds the first month, 15 more the second, and by 6 months had reached a healthy, muscular 100 pounds, transforming from a skeletal ghost into a magnificent greyhound with a glossy coat and bright, trusting eyes. 8 months after rescue, Mango became what his family called a professional cuddler.
this powerful greyhound who could run 45 miles per hour chose instead to follow them everywhere, always within touching distance, perfecting his signature move of putting his head on their shoulders and wrapping his legs around them in a hug. But Mango had an almost supernatural gift. He could sense emotions with uncanny accuracy, and whenever someone was sad or hurting, he'd appear and press against them with an intensity that felt almost human. When the family lost 5 grandparents in one devastating year, a tragedy that shattered them, Mango became their anchor. He'd lay his head in their laps during funeral arrangements, sit pressed against them during sleepless nights, somehow communicating they weren't alone. The mother swears that one night when she was crying at 3 a.m. in the kitchen, Mango came downstairs, sat before her, and placed both paws on her shoulders, pulling her into an embrace so tender she couldn't believe a dog could offer such intentional comfort. They gave him nicknames that captured his personality: Twinkle Toes for his graceful ballet dancer movements, and Baby Bean for his magical ability to curl his 100-pound body into impossibly small spaces, making himself tiny enough to fit any cuddle situation. The family jokes that Mango isn't a dog, but a human soul in a greyhound body, because no animal should understand complex emotions this well. Today, almost 2 years after rescue, Mango lives a life designed to heal every past wound. He has his own bedroom, a toy collection, a special orthopedic bed, though he prefers the family couch, and most importantly, people who'd move mountains to ensure he never experiences fear, hunger, or abandonment again. His transformation from a broken 35-pound skeleton with dead eyes to a vibrant 100-pound athlete with a zest for life proves what love, patience, and commitment can achieve. Now, before you go, I have a feeling some of you might have forgotten to hit that subscribe button while watching Mango's incredible journey. It's easy to get caught up in emotion, so if you could take 2 seconds right now to subscribe, it would mean everything to us, and to dogs like Mango still waiting for their forever homes. Please don't just watch and leave. Drop a comment below telling us what moment in Mango's story touched you most, and smash that like button so YouTube shows this to more people who might be inspired to adopt a rescue dog. Because every comment, every like, every share could connect another abandoned dog with their perfect family.